Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Let's just get straight in to the video. Let me get rid of this headband first because this isn't very scary, is it? We are going to be discussing the Chris Watts murder case. Let's just start at the beginning, shall we? Chris Watts is a 33-year-old man. He lives in Colorado in the USA, and he lives with his wife and two gorgeous daughters, Celeste and Bella Watts. Bella was 4 years old and Celeste was 3 years old, and they were just a normal, average American family. Chris was born and raised in North Carolina in the USA. He just lived a normal childhood, then went on to meet Shannon, his then wife. He met Shannon in 2012 and they got married a year later in 2013. This is Chris. I'll put a picture of him on the screen right now, and this is a picture of him with his lovely family, and this is a picture of his wife, Shannon. So Shannon, his wife, had been on a business trip with her work friend for the weekend. She tried to get in touch with her just a few hours after dropping her off from the business trip that they had to go on, and she could not get a hold of Shannon's phone. She tried ringing her mobile and she just could not get in touch with her. Now, this is strange. Like, what is going on? Shannon had missed her appointment with the midwife that she needed to go to at the hospital, and something just did not seem right. When Nicole tried to contact Chris and ask him where Shannon was, he was at work, and that's all he said. On the phone, when she managed to contact him, he was just like, I'm at work, I can't speak right now, I have no idea either, acting like he was concerned on the phone but not concerned enough to do anything about it. Dismissing the fact that she had missed her midwife appointment and her friend was worried about her. So the only thing that her friend could do next was call the police. She waited at Chris's house for the police to actually arrive. So they went there to have a look and see if they could find anything.
How you guys doing?
Brother?
What's that?
Do you remember me?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
How you been?
Hi.
You Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. What's going on?
So my friend, we were out of town for a business trip this weekend,
Right.
and I dropped her off at 2 o'clock this morning. She's 15 weeks pregnant. She wasn't feeling well, and she had a doctor's appointment this morning at 9, and I told her to let me know if she needed me to take her. She's got 2 little girls, and she was very distraught over the weekend, wasn't eating normally or drinking, and we kept trying to force it on her because she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband and her supposedly are separating, but she didn't know this. She thought they were just having issues. He disclosed that to me today.
Okay.
Because I called him and I was like, have you talked or heard from Shanann since she left for work this morning? Because I can't get a hold of her. I've called, I've texted. Her car's in the garage. Her shoes she wears every single day are right in the front door.
They didn't really
find anything
except
Her phone's here. Her phone's here.
Does she work?
Yeah, she works from home.
Oh, from home.
She works business at Lifeline.
they did find Shannon's keys, purse and phone in the house. Now, if she was going somewhere, I think you'd take your keys and your purse and everything with you. This is not normal already. Colorado Bureau of Investigation released an endangered missing persons alert because Shannon is pregnant. She hadn't been missing that long really, so they wouldn't usually do this, but they were worried about her safety. Chris tells the police that he has absolutely no idea where his wife and young daughters have gone to, and that he is very concerned and upset. He does some media appearances where he looks very concerned about them, asking them to please come home if they are watching, and that he really misses them and he's sorry if he's done anything wrong. Very strange. As Chris's story kept changing, the FBI and the police department started to think, there might be something slightly off here. Like, this man has told us he has no idea what was going on. He told them that he'd not seen them at all that day, and then his story changed to he took them into bed and they were all good the last time that he saw them, but it kept dramatically changing. In the media interviews that he was putting out, he was begging them to come home. The first statement Chris actually gave in front of the media, he said this.
I want them wherever they're at. Like, I have no inclination to where they're at right now. Like, I've exhausted like every friend that I know of, and every friend that I have has called friends that Shanann has that maybe I didn't know about, and it's just like it's like it's vanished. Like, she's not, like, when I got home yesterday, it was like a ghost town.
Chris's neighbours actually have CCTV footage from pointing at his house that morning during the early hours. Before he went to work, he actually took 50 minutes to load his truck to go to work that morning. Bear in mind, this was about 5 o'clock in the morning. There was nobody around, no one had seen. If it wasn't for that camera, no one would know. At this point, when his neighbour has actually watched the CCTV footage and seen that his wife and kids do not leave the house, and the only person that does leave the house, after spending an hour loading his truck with his work things, is Chris. Now, you can tell there is actually a video of the neighbour showing Chris this footage of him being really sketchy and weird before going to work. The neighbour is starting to get a bit suspicious.
My detective just showed up, so he'll probably want to talk to you. He'd probably, like I said, he might have you call at the bank and see if there's any kind of activity.
As you can see from that footage, Chris is acting very strange while watching this footage. He seems very uncomfortable. He doesn't want to be in that situation. Like, he's just kind of like stood there with his hands on his head. He keeps not looking. He looks down at his phone. Like, if my family had gone missing and we have this CCTV footage that might maybe help us know what has happened, I would be watching. He does not want to look at that TV. When they finished watching the surveillance camera video, the policeman actually asks Chris to go wait outside while he just talks to his neighbour. I mean, the police officer can obviously see that Chris was not standing still.
And he never backs his truck into the driveway. I have him on camera doing that when he does it.
Now, the neighbour obviously, naturally, tells us now this is not normal behaviour for Chris, and he is acting like a weirdo. Now, the police, after hearing this, are like, okay, what's going on here? Shannon's life revolved around her family and her herbal nutrition sales that she did. She used to make little videos on Facebook and online. This is one of the videos that she posted.
Not letting the haters get in my way. I will continue not letting people discourage me. I will continue not letting people judge me or what I do. I will continue not letting people influence my decisions on what I do in life. I will continue fighting for my children, for my husband, for myself.
Over 24 hours has passed now since the girls and Shanann have been missing. This is completely not normal and out of character for them. She wouldn't just leave like this. So the police go and investigate the house with dogs. Now, the police are looking for the scent, and suddenly someone finds the balled up bed sheet from Chris and Shanann's bed in the bin. People are getting suspicious now. Why would the bed sheet be in the bin? The police didn't actually ask Shannon's best friend, Nicole, about their relationship until later on in an interview, where Nicole expressed that even though the video Shannon put online about being pregnant again and having another baby seemed like Chris was happy about it and it was all good and had a happy little family, because that's what you would see on her social media. That's not what it was really like. A few weeks earlier, Chris had texted Shannon while he was at work saying that he was not happy about having another baby and that he doesn't know if something should be done about it. After that text message, Shannon actually went back to stay with her parents in Arizona for 5 weeks away from Chris. During that time, he was acting very strangely, said Shannon's friend. While Shannon was out of town, she noticed that there was a charge on her credit card for a meal that was definitely not just for one person. So naturally, she starts getting suspicious, thinking, he's cheating on me while I'm gone, what do I do? She confronted Chris and he said that he went to a baseball game and he was just getting something to eat on the way back. I mean, that isn't a very reliable story when the charge was so much. It was clearly for 2 people, but that's just what he went with. She was very active on social media. She used to post everything on Facebook. She made a video of when she actually told Chris that she was pregnant again and recorded his reaction.
We did it again. I like that shirt. Really?
Really?
That's awesome.
That's just the test.
I know. It just says the pink is going to be girls.
I don't know. Just the test.
That's awesome.
She posts everything constantly and she's decided to just go away without her phone. No. And with all the high media coverage of this situation going on and Chris being plastered all over the televisions all around America, the police now got an anonymous tip. A woman wanting to speak to the police about Chris, saying that she had some important information that would help them with the case. Chris was, in fact, having an affair. Chris goes on to state to the lady that he was in the process of separation with his wife. At this point, naturally, the police start to turn all their attention as to Chris's moves the day of the disappearance of his family. So they decide to take Chris into the police station for a polygraph test. So a polygraph test records a number of different bodily responses to different questions. They usually measure like your blood pressure, your breathing, if you're getting hot and sweaty and stuff like that. I mean, I think you can guess what happened next. Chris failed the polygraph test. When the police actually say to him, you failed the polygraph test, his response is, okay. Now Chris knows that everyone is suspicious of him. The police lady who is investigating and speaking to him actually says, you do know that your van has GPS tracking system in there and we can track exactly where you went that morning. When someone just looks like they just want to sink through the floor, he looks exactly like that. So they track the GPS to see where Chris went and the police are investigating. He didn't go into the office that morning like he usually would. Instead, he went straight out to one of the oil sites where they have like big containers to like keep oil in, and he went straight there with his van. So they are searching his work and where they saw him go with the GPS system as he is being interviewed by the police in the police station. The police actually send out a drone to look over the whole field of where he went with the van, and as they launch the drone into the sky, they see a white bed sheet just in the middle of the field. This bed sheet matches the bed sheet off the bed that they found screwed up in the bin. After hours and hours of intense interrogation, Chris finally cracks. Do you know what he tells them? Yes, I admit it, I was having an affair. He doesn't know that the police already know this because his mistress has actually already told them this. They are one step ahead of you. They can see that he is starting to crack, so they turn up the heat. They say to him, obviously we have been here interrogating you for 2 days now on and off and you have not shed one tear. Now what happens next is really pulling the story together. The investigator says to Chris, did Shanann do something to the girls? Did she hurt the girls? And Chris kind of pauses for a second. It's like he's thinking, should I say that she did something to them and maybe then I'll be okay? Chris says, I need to talk to my father and then I will let you know what's happened. He's going to be talking to them in a room that is being recorded, so they will hear exactly what he says to his father, but this is what happens next.
Well, I don't want to protect her. You don't want to protect her. I don't know what else to say. She hurt him? Yeah. And well, no, that's not her. You're her.
The police have seen videos of Shanann and they know what a good mum she is, and they really do not believe that she would have done this. The only way for them to find out now for sure what has definitely happened is if Chris cracks and tells the truth, or if they find the bodies. The drone footage showed a bald patch in the grass out on the field, and that's where Shanann was buried. They found oil tanks where Chris drove, and they know that there is bodies in them oil tanks. There are 2 oil tanks next to each other, and they found Celeste's body in one of the oil tanks and Bella's body in the other. 4 months after being in prison, Chris says that he will now talk to the agents and let them know what actually happened that night. Chris says that he went to tell his wife that he was going to leave her, and instead he didn't, and they ended up having sex. The next morning he tells her that he's leaving her, and she then goes on to say, I knew there was somebody else. He then gets on top of her and starts pinning her down to attack her. Like, she is saying to get off her, obviously, and that he will never see the kids ever again, and that is when he strangles her to death. His daughter was stood in the doorway and saw exactly what he had just done to her mum. He told her that she was not feeling very well and carried Shanann's body wrapped in a sheet out into his truck and put her in the back of his truck that he backed up that had been seen on the neighbour's CCTV. He then got his 3- and 4-year-old daughter, Cece and Bella, and put them in the back of the truck with their dead mum. He drove out to the oil field, and that is where he buried Shanann. He then smothered Cece with her own blanket until she died. The whole time he was doing this, Bella was actually watching it all happen before he did the same thing to her. He then put Bella's body in one oil tank and Cece's body in another oil tank and just drove away like nothing ever happened. Eventually, on the 6th of November, Chris pleads guilty to all 9 charges against him, but he only did so because they took the death toll off the table. Like, he is never getting out of prison for this. If you want to see more on this story, there is full other news videos on YouTube. And if you liked watching me do my makeup while talking about this, and if you want to see me do more videos like this, I'm going to be doing some paranormal ones and things like that, then don't forget to subscribe down below. Let me know what you think of this story in the comments down below. I will see you in my next video. Bye.